Well, all right, here's the deal. It is Sunday morning. I have actually a pretty good part of today that I can get some work done on the car. So if you're new to the channel, this is 1937 Chevy Master Deluxe, and we're building it for RatStock 2024. Where we sit right now is there are no sills. There's nothing supporting the front end of the car here. So it's sitting on the S10 chassis. And basically what I got to do today is build the sill for the driver side, redo everything on the passenger side, see if I can get the body lifted off of it so that then we can move the drivetrain backwards. So it's legit 90 days exactly until RatStock 2024. And I got a lot of stuff to do because I'm getting a couple days a week on this at most. So I got to bust my ass to finish it. So come on, join us for the party here, and we'll see what we can get finished today. Get after it. All right, so what you saw me do there was just make a cardboard template, kind of like you watch Half-Ass Customs. We do our beer CAD, and we just make a cardboard template. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld this to the remainder here. So I got a nice clean piece of metal. We're going to run some square stock vertical along that down to where I'm going to build the sill here. So I've got something to actually support the front end of the car. So that's going to be the first step. I think what I'll do, actually, there's a lot of crustiness in here. I'm going to remove some of the surface scale if I can with a wire wheel. And then I got this rust encapsulator stuff. And I'm just going to spray that in there and basically forget about the fact that it looks like that inside there. So that's what we're doing next. And then we'll cut this out and weld it in around the perimeter. And then we'll put our vertical pieces in here. So that's coming up next. So there's lots of different brands of this rust encapsulator. This is Eastwood stuff. Never used it, but just the areas behind the kick panel here, I'm just going to kind of spray that on there. And, that's going to be that's the way we're treating it. I've used some other brands that have this same stuff. 3M, I don't know. I'm not brand specific, don't care. Just gonna spray it on there and consider that fixed. And then I will grind off the edges here where I'm going to or just freshen up the edges on the kick panel where I'm gonna cut my template out and weld it on there. The rest of this can just, just gonna stay as is. It's like new, right? And get it on all the nooks and crannies here. Anything that's actually metal, I guess, since half the car is not. All right, so I'm just going to clean that, clean off my kick panel again. Actually, I'll let that dry. And while that's drying, we'll go cut the piece out for welding in there. So I never use this stuff either, but it's this self-etching weld-through primer. I figured if I'm cleaning up this metal anyways to put in the car, this is going to be the back side of it. Might as well give it a little coat of this. I mean, just for future me problems. Probably this car is going to last a lot longer than me anyways, but it's already 90 years old. No reason after I build it that it might last another 90 years. Might as well protect the backside of this piece of metal. So I have no idea if that's going to do anything, but it seems better than just leaving the metal bare in there to let nature ravage it. So let's go stick that in. I was going to do a bead on this panel, but since I want to weld my vertical piece to it, I didn't want to recess it at all into the little pocket there where the kick panel is. So we're just going to leave it flat so that my square stock can weld to that. So, all right, let's go stick it in. All right, so we're in the car and I got this panel tacked on there. I think that'll hold it in place good enough for now. But what I'm going to do now is, just like I did the rear sill, I'm going to use that 1x3 square tubing. Right now I just have this piece of 3/4 cut just to see if I get my size right. So if I match that up right along the inside of the door for my sill, I take it right up to that post there, and I'll run my vertical right there along the inside part of that new panel I put in. I might have to notch it right where the S10 frame is, right down in that corner there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my 1x3 tube and I'm going to cut a piece to match the length of this one, this being my measuring stick template. And then, like I said, over there we will run a vertical piece up and down on that to connect that kick panel to the rectangular tube, and then we will come back here and fully weld it to that, but also then run a vertical support from here down to it as well. So, overbuilt, redundancy probably, but better than the garbage that was in there before. So that will be the next step. Okay, so just ripping along here. So here's what we did so far. I cut that 1x3 square tubing and it actually fits really well. I put my ratchet strap back in here and we got this door opening and closing really well. It's actually perfect, so that's awesome. I've got my little miter cut here. It was a little bit of an angle there because the car gets narrower as you go forward. So what we're gonna do is probably put a couple of tacks back there. We'll make sure that we're lined up with the door sill there. Got a nice even gap front to back. Then up there, what I will do is the vertical piece right along the inside part of my tack welds on that and secure it to that. When that's done, I think once this is all welded up, it will finalize the connection between A pillar and B pillar on the bottom with our new 1x3 sill. We're going to be rocking and rolling. I did have to notch my little S10 body mount there, which I was perfectly happy to do, as that looks perfect. So I'm going to, let's see, I'll cut a piece to put there first. Maybe tack that on, tack that. Okay, yep, something like that. I'm just gonna keep moving along here. All right, so a couple things. First off, this worked out great. We got that tacked vertically, got it tacked to the sill, got it tacked back here. The door opens and closes really well. You saw me do something really stupid there, which is don't ever put a tack in a corner where you can't cut it out. That is something that I know, and I decided that I would just make life harder for myself. So I didn't do that at first, but here we are, sills in. So we've got from front to back, we've got a sill. So that's awesome. Again, I just had to do a little notch here on the body mount for the S10 frame. So that doesn't matter to me. We will go reproduce all of this on the other side there because, well, as you can tell, you know, it looks, you know, it's fine mostly. But yeah, we'll do all of this exact same thing on the passenger side, and hopefully by the end of my work day today, I will be able to lift the body off the frame. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to record any of this on the passenger side because, well, you saw me do it on the other side, and it's basically going to be the same kind of deal. You know, these rotten things here. Yeah. Yep. Fixed it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Structurally perfect. So I'll do this side and I will just update you when it's done because basically it's just a replication mirror image on this side. So, all right. I'll let you know how long it takes. See you later. All right, well, I just couldn't resist this part as far as, you know, like, it's just absurd. Who does this? I mean, yep, just absurd. Well, here's my pile of wreckage. You can see all of this stuff. It's just total rot. And seriously, like, I don't even know what that is. I mean, it's some kind of adhesive, epoxy. I don't know. Solid. The rest of this, though, it's just fiberglass that was just put on top of rust. So that's all junk. I got this side cut out. I got my horizontal piece and my vertical pieces here. Something's not lining up with the body of the Master and the chassis because it doesn't match the other side exactly where this little tab for that body mount is there. So I got my ratchet strap so the front door opens and closes. I did have to jack up under the post there because otherwise the door sags. So now that it opens and closes well, I'll put the sill in and it should hopefully stay that way, I hope. So I'll come back another day. I got to clean up here. Girls are coming home from their grandparents, so I'm going to clean this stuff up and, you know, kind of get it set to go so the next time I have a moment, I can start fresh. So that'll do for today. Well, it's like 5 days later, and I didn't get a chance to do anything this week, which of course sucks. I did come out here one night and I realized that my rear door wasn't shutting really all that well, and I thought, maybe I can adjust that. And I cut off my little horizontal support here. I realized that this one was tweaked in a little bit compared to the driver's side, so I cut it off. I tried manipulating it. I had ratchet strap on there. I was moving the ratchet strap back and forth. I was ready to cut the car in half and say, forget it, I'm not building this damn thing. So this morning I did get the rear sill in. That's just tacked in. I will kind of show you what I did here in a moment. But I'm gonna wind up on this video. I don't even remember, honestly, it's been so long since I recorded anything. I don't even remember where I left the last segment. So I'm gonna tidy up here, finish this up, and then the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to take that horizontal support out under the dash. I'm going to move it down to the sills here, just so I can lift the car body off of the S10 chassis, because we really got to get our asses in gear to move the drivetrain backwards. So I'm going to clean up a little bit here, and then I'll kind of show you what I did and move forward. Okay, just so you can see what I'm doing here, just like I did on the driver's side over there, got that vertical support going up under the dash. So back here, what we've got, I took my square tube and I've got it against this panel that I put in there, and I got it tacked on the bottom of the sill here. I got it tacked back here. You can see we've got the sill in the back. So what we're gonna do is finish, well, at least welding that in pretty well. And then up here, and once that's secured, the A pillar and B pillar are going to be connected. I'm obviously going to have to do some work here to fill in some stuff. Well, yeah, you know, I just got a lot of work to do. So, but I just wanted to kind of show you the concept of how I'm connecting my new sill to my A pillar with new metal. So we actually have something that resembles some structure in here. So I'm going to weld it up and then hopefully get the body off the chassis. Well, here's where we're leaving it. So I'm going to clean up in here a little bit. What I will do before I end this actual video is I'm going to get this thing pulled forward on the lift, and we're going to take the body off of the chassis. At least that's my plan. So stick around for a minute. I'm going to do that. We did get the sills in both sides. So, hey, that's a little bit better than what we had there before. Got both sides done. Both front doors shut. Excuse me. Both front doors shut very well. The rear door, they stick a little bit. So, you know, you give it a little swing like that, you can see it doesn't latch all the way. You got to lift up a little bit before it'll do that. So it sags from the back to the front. I have tried messing with it as much as I can. You can see a long time ago, I made a reference line here. That's before I did any of the chop. That's right where I had it before. When I look at the sills from the inside, it looks good from front to back. When I look at the latch from the inside, it seems to be okay. But if I could shim here, it would lift the back of the door that way, which would help it latch here. Because you see when it opens, I'm low where the latch goes. But when you look up here, you can see it would help the sag that I have. If I just lift up a little bit, shuts fine. Then I'm nice there on my door gap. I'm nice vertical on my door gap. So if I was to put a shim there, it would screw up the gaps. I have no idea how to fix that. Again, if anybody's got comments or suggestions on how I should do that, that would be awesome. The gaps are where I want them. I tried cutting the pillar loose and moving it out in front, back. I couldn't, I don't know. So it probably had to do with when I cut the pillar out here and welded it back in. If anybody has suggestions, I would love to hear it. So let me clean up in the shop here a little bit, and I will then get the body off the chassis, and we're gonna call that a video today. Well, before we get the body off of here, I just wanna show you all how far we're gonna move the drivetrain back, if I can do this with the old one-handed trick. So if I'm on the firewall there, and I come back to the back of the distributor, 14 would be max. Probably leaving a little bit of room would be reasonable, maybe 13 inches for good luck. So that's how much we've got room for. That's gonna kind of get closer to the firewall. So let's get the body off of here and Then we can finish doing some welding on the bottom part of the floor that I put in and the sills, and that'll probably do for this video. All right, well, after some struggle bus moments here, we got the car off the chassis. This is the first I've been under it to look at the welds at the bottom. So I think the floor looks pretty good for everything we redid. Obviously, a whole bunch of rot there. I'm probably just gonna leave that because it's a RatRod and I got too much other crap to worry about. So I think that everything looks pretty good as far as I can tell from down here. I mean, our panels came together pretty well. I think that, you know, the back floor itself looks pretty darn good. And what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna get to the bottom of the sills here where I welded the top. I need to do the bottom. There's a couple other places like that, but the sills are in and they are connected to the A pillar there. Got our new piece of sheet metal there, of course. So I'll weld the entire backside of that as well for structure. I'm not going to do anything as far as floor on the front until we put it back down on that. So I think the next segment is going to be just kind of chassis prep, get rid of as much, delete as much as we can. So again, floor looks pretty good. I think with our bead rolling, our welding, everything came together pretty well down here. So what I'm going to do is quit this video right now and we will get back after it another time. So if you have any comments about the build so far, I'd love to hear them. Obviously a lot more work to do. I can't believe that I've got like 3 calendar months to get it done, to basically match that to that and make a drive. So lots of work ahead. I appreciate everybody coming back. Comment, let me know what to do next. Thanks.